Bucky, Justin here from London, Ontario.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How have things been since the last hangout that we did?
Busy. Things are continually growing over at Realty Growth, and we are moving right along. The market's ticking.
Yeah, I'm waiting for G to pop his head around the corner and say that things are growing.
Yeah, he's probably. I'm working from home this morning, but he's at the front desk, I'm sure. And as you know, because of Snapchat, that's his saying.
Yeah, no doubt. And he seems like he's been out with you a bunch too, like on property tours and going to check stuff out. So is he growing into another role with you guys, or is it just another day at the office?
Yeah, his goals are to become a real estate advisor with our team. He is licensed in the state of Minnesota, but no better way to learn than be behind the front desk and see it as it comes. And so how I explained it to him, I said, view this as like, if you want to run the restaurant, you got to work in the kitchen and wash the dishes, and then you'll learn how to do other things within the restaurant. And so that's where G's at in his career. And it's awesome to bring him along and just learn with him. And he's teaching me stuff, and it's just awesome.
It's pretty crazy. Like when you're actually doing the day-to-day of transactions and dealings, you see every aspect of every deal, right? Like you see the ones that came together, you see the ones that went through 3 or 4 amendments and then came together, you see the ones that fell apart, and you learn so much more just getting in and digging in and being part of all the files. I mean, that's not scalable to a certain degree once you're out in the field working deals, right? Like you're focused on each individual transaction, where he's got that leverage of seeing how many deals at the same time going on, right?
Right. I told him he will become one of the best advisors on the team, like a great, in the sense that he understands how all aspects of the business work. And it's the absolute truth, because he can just mentally connect the dots of, all right, this goes here, this goes there, and this leads to this action. And ultimately it leads to helping our clients out and helping them achieve their goals. So yeah, it's good. I want to start real quick with intro. You know, people, if they chime in on YouTube, thank you for chiming in. And add, comments down below. And let's start with an intro for the people that don't follow us on Snapchat and know our daily life.
No doubt. So I'm Justin Konikow. I own a real estate brokerage with my wife called Konikow Real Estate Brokerage. We're located in London, Ontario, which is about an hour and a half west of Toronto. Really interesting market. We're actually a test market sandwiched between 2 of the Great Lakes. So the quality of life here is phenomenal. About 500,000 people live in our city. Very big small town vibe. Everybody knows everybody, kind of twice removed. So it makes for a really fun market to play in, as far as being able to be involved in lots of different types of transactions and leverage those relationships and help people build their businesses and then see that growth, right? Our tagline branding started as a bit of a joke. It's theclosers.ca is our website, and you can find us on Snapchat, Instagram, pretty much everywhere at The Closers Team with an S. My wife made a joke when we were getting licensed that we should change our last name to Justin and Shannon Closer as our last name. It was kind of tongue in cheek. The website was available, so we took it. And people that know us here, they know that, we're pretty humble people. We're pretty low key, so it's kind of more of a tongue in cheek tagline than anything else, but it seems to have taken on. So Bucky, give us a little intro as to who you are and what you do.
Bucky Beeman, partner and real estate advisor at Realty Growth Incorporated, a firm that was started in the 70s in Rochester, Minnesota. I think we share in just the overall feel of our communities. It's a very small community. I like to say, I compare it to a community not too far from where we live called Preston, which I don't know the population, probably 2,000. And we're like Preston in the sense that everybody knows everybody except for people just dress a little bit nicer. And our population's hovering around 120,000 people. The reason we're on the map and the reason we have that population really has to do with the Mayo Clinic, and this is their home here in Rochester, Minnesota. And without the Mayo Clinic, we wouldn't have the economy of Rochester and really what it is and what it's becoming. I focus on commercial real estate, and my firm focuses on commercial real estate because of the size of the market. We see all different types of commercial real estate, which is unique, I feel like, for our industry, in the sense that we're helping people buy single-family rentals. We're helping tenants find space, whether it's a $500 a month office or it's moving into a 30,000 square foot warehouse. We help investors find investment opportunities, and we help businesses find homes to expand their business. So it's really neat. We help hotel developers. We really get to see it all related to commercial real estate in this market. And it's an exciting market for the fact that Mayo is wanting to grow over the next 20 years. So the opportunities are endless. And thanks to the internet, they're even more endless. So that's me. That's who I am.
Awesome. And then as far as your market right now, how are things going? Obviously, the recession's long gone. Things seem to be back to a pretty good place. Are you guys seeing a big resurgence coming back in your market on a whole?
Yeah, we are definitely seeing a lot of progress related to our market. Again, it comes back down to the Mayo Clinic. They have an initiative, an economic initiative called Destination Medical Center. The reason for this initiative, there's many reasons, but the way I like to explain it is we have the #1 healthcare almost in the entire world. Like we're always 1, 2, depending on where you look and what you read. And the visitors that come here, over 1 million a year, their time in the Mayo Clinic is unbelievable. But let's say 70% of their time is spent outside of the Mayo Clinic, and the community doesn't provide the things that maybe they want as they're spending time here. So they look at other areas to go. Like the CEO, I believe, once said at Mayo, and this is hearsay, I didn't see it in person, but we don't have mountains, we don't have oceans. And so that being said, why are people going to come to Rochester, Minnesota outside of just the #1 care? We need to make a community that really supports the visitors and the employees, so we have a community that really entices people to want to come here and work here and live here and play here. And so because of this Destination Medical Center initiative that started a few years ago, we're just starting to see this progress of developers, business owners, really setting up a foundation for future growth, which then in turn has resulted in a lot of activity in the commercial real estate industry, where we're working with developers to, I like to say, play the monopoly game, where they're trying to control parcels of land close to the epicenter of Mayo Clinic, in Rochester in general. And then it's been awesome to see, because we have this base, wonderful foundation that our founder built here in Rochester, that we're starting to expand outside of the Rochester market into other markets, because our clients are helping us do so. But the market is hot. It's tough to find deals. We have people that want to invest, and there is not a lot of opportunities. And we're knocking on doors. I put it on Snapchat yesterday. I'm tired of knocking on doors, but it's what you got to do. We're sending snail mail to people that own properties, just inquiring if they would sell. Market's tight.
Yeah, that's actually something I was thinking about on the drive over, asking you, because in our market, we deal with kind of the same issue, right? It's an inventory problem, and we have to get creative to find properties. Like a lot of the deals that we're doing are for properties that aren't for sale. On the commercial side of things, sometimes we go after properties that are for lease, and maybe they've been vacant for a couple of years. Everything's technically for sale. A lot of people don't know that. They just think, oh, that's for lease, I'm not even gonna bother with that. But, sometimes you talk to the owner and things change, and, for a good chunk of change, they'd be willing to part with it, which may not be a lot of money to the company that's coming in value-wise to get into that area that they really want to be in. On the investment side of things as well, it's funny, like the last 5 deals we did for investors, none of them were multiple offers. None of them were competing offers with anybody else. They were properties that we saw something we were able to leverage. So there was one we just closed last week where it was actually 2 properties. One was a 6-door duplex. The other was a 4-bedroom little cottage, but they were right next to each other. The cottage had 7 parking spots next to the duplex. The duplex only had 2 parking spots next to the cottage. So we saw it was listed for just over the 700 range, and we approached the sellers and said, listen, like, you're not going to have any buyers that are going to buy 1 or 2 of these things, because the 6-door duplex is going to need at least 6 parking spots, and vice versa, right? So we ended up buying both parcels at the same time at a huge discount, and gave the seller the opportunity to get out of a situation that he didn't want to be in anyways. And the buyer made out like a bandit. Like when I told another investor that I was dealing with in another market that we got 10 doors for under 700, he was blown away. Because I mean, a lot of the markets just east and west of London are just crazy hot. Like, you go to Toronto, Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, you're buying, a duplex or a fourplex for $700,000-800,000, right? So I think our markets are kind of similar in that aspect too, where the cash flow is a lot better than some of the more expensive markets, but the rents are just as good, because I mean, rents are going to be what rents are going to be, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How overall would you summarize your market since we last talked? What are you seeing?
So, socioeconomic impactors, since the last time we talked, the market's great. Like the residential real estate market impacts the commercial real estate market just from a consumer level of confidence. It's been crazy. I mean, no inventory has really been lasting that long on the system. Our average days on market is normally around 30 days, and now we've dropped. Like we're probably, if you've been on the market for 2 weeks, there's something wrong with your property. And investment properties, the same thing. The commercial real estate market, it's been the same as it's been for the past little bit. Like there is a big resurgence in office leasing, with us being almost in parallel with you guys as far as coming back from the recession. We're back to pre-2007 levels, investment wise. Companies are doing well. There's more commercial acquisition. The sales is still the long play. So I mean, there's lots of deals in the commercial real estate market where they've been under contract for 6 or 7 months, and then they fall apart on the financing of the company, or they come back on the market, or things just tend to change. Companies get acquired, but there's lots of opportunities with that, because when you're talking about a monopoly board and properties switching hands, it's kind of the same thing here, but it's really that best and highest use for those properties that's changing the face of downtown London specifically. So the last time we talked, I talked about the downtown London improvement plan and kind of how they were taking our downtown core, and because social services was leaving the downtown core, they were using that as a catalyst to spur a whole bunch of development along Dundas Street. Well, I actually, speaking to some people that I know, they're going to start doing that more and more. Like by 2018, they'll be digging up that main artery road on Dundas Street. From what I heard, the social services will be gone in the next couple of years, and all the little parasitic cash checking places, head shops, smoke shops, a lot of that survives only because social services is there, right? So it's nice to see that the confidence level is rising. We're still probably about a year or two away from the public really realizing it. I see it from a daily basis from walking down Dundas, where 2 years ago, I have no problem walking down downtown London. A lot of my business associates would probably have felt uncomfortable just from the general feel of it. Now it's getting much more gentrified. So I'm walking down and I'm running into people that own businesses locally that are going to grab a coffee. You're really seeing a big change in the general demographics. Now, that's not to say crime isn't still a problem downtown. I mean, there's lots of incidents with police officers and everything else on that strip. But again, talking to a cop that I know really well, that I've known for 12 years, the other day, he said, from 5 years ago when it was, 10 incidents a day, he's like, it's down to a couple a week, which they're really surprised about. So, I think it's heading in a good direction. I think Gen Pop in London still has a perception that, oh, it's never going to happen. It's been like this for 10 or 15 years. You know what? It's the downtown's dead. Those are the same people that I see in 2 or 3 years saying, I wish I bought that property for $550 now that it's worth $850 or $950, right? So yeah, confidence level's high. It's still a challenge and a lot of work to get deals done, but the tenants and the people in our marketplace are starting to see the light. So I brought a tenant into 2 buildings yesterday. One we ended up getting under contract. The other, they took a look at it and they're like, I can't believe this has sat vacant for so long. And that's where our market's heading now. Is there's going to be a bigger scarcity of these properties. There's not really going to be much availability downtown, and hopefully that grows into some of the other surrounding neighborhoods, and helps gentrify those neighborhoods as well.
Yeah, and I think our downtown is past yours in that sense of, I had a conversation with a gentleman, we graduated at the same time, 2008, yesterday. He's now a residential realtor. And he's like, part of the reason we came back is because what's happening in Rochester, but even in downtown, like we have bars, we have restaurants, we have this great coffee shop called Cafe Steam, locally owned. And I've said this multiple times, the sense of community downtown is so real nowadays compared to what it was even when I was growing up. And then even going back further, I mean, there was dirty bookstores and kind of the bars that you didn't want to go to. And we are past that point of being like, no, downtown is thriving. You can't find opportunities. Like, it's people trying to find the opportunity before anybody else knows about it. And there's only so many because our downtown is so focused. We're not in New York. Like, we are small. We are a few blocks, right? And so it's cool to see just a sense of community and the overall momentum that downtown has here in Rochester. And it's exciting to hear about yours, because I feel like you're just building up. You can see it. You live and breathe it. Some of your clients start to see it. And that's where it'll be fun to look back and remember when. Still there, Justin? Ooh, might have lost. Yeah. Let's see. Might have to re-invite you. Let's see if this works out. Don't know what happened, but Google Hangouts has given us a bug. Let's see if I eject you as, are you sure you want to eject Justin? Yes, Justin is ejected. And let's re-invite him back in. Re-inviting. We'll see if he gets back on the phone call. So this is our second Google Hangout, and we're just getting used to the tool. I've paid a lot of attention to curators. I don't know if anybody else has seen them, but every once in a while you get some of the bugs that come into place. I think a lot of it has to do with internet speed. I look fully connected. Speed looks decent. Can you hear me, Justin? There you are.
There's a man.
Awesome. All right. So, sorry about the bug. I don't know what happened there. Internet speed, probably. All right. Let's go on to, I guess, real quick, one quick question. Are you seeing any bubbles? Like, if you're going to call back, if we're going to look back a year from now, what bubble are you seeing anything?
The bubble, like the main bubble, would be that downtown core. I mean, I had a couple investors from another tech town looking at our city yesterday. London, and again, I don't want to get off topic. London's one of the most affordable cities in North America. Our average sale price is like $280. Leasing rates, I was going to ask you that on your side. Downtown rates, I mean, we're probably anywhere from your $9-10 a square foot net to 22 to 25 for some pretty decent areas. The downtown core, so that Dundas, Richmond area to Richmond and York, is like sub 10. So hold on a second. There's app didn't know. Can you still see me?
Yep, I see it just fine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it just popped up some weird message on mine. Yeah, there you are. So yeah, that Richmond to Dundas area, it's happening, right? Like everybody's on board. Like, you know, I was showing the property to some investors yesterday, and there's really not that much left. Like there's a couple problem spots, but all your AAA tenants are there. Your Starbucks, your McDonald's, your Rexall, your A&W, your Tim Hortons, they're all there. And once those other spots are gone and they take the bus routes off Dundas Street, people are going to flip out and say, you know what? I should have opened my
darn internet. And you froze. Well, if you're tuning in, I apologize. I don't know if it's our internet speed or what the case is, but we will have to figure this out. We'll see if Justin hops back on the phone call. Google Hangout, I should say. A couple other things we were going to cover is hot topics and what are some things kind of in our heart, on our mind that we want to talk about related to hot topics. And then also we were going to talk about social and how we're seeing it work in our career. And if Justin comes back, we will go on to that conversation. If he doesn't come back and we can't figure it out, then what we'll do is set up another Google Hangout. And this is the start, I feel, of some continued healthy conversations as real estate agents that are in different parts of the world and essentially just doing cool stuff in their community. And I like to think I'm doing cool stuff and my team's doing cool stuff. So it's fun to connect with other like-minded professionals whether you're in real estate or you're in a different career, and just seeing what you're doing related to your business to help expand your business. So it looks like Justin just logged out. I'm going to do one more invite for him and see if we can't get him on board. And again, I apologize. Let's see. Oh, it looks like he's coming on. There you go, Justin. Yeah. I don't know. It must be internet speed. We'll see. Well, I get you related to the bubble. Can you hear me okay?
Not sure. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep, I can hear you. Where we are at related to the bubble is apartments and hotels. Like our Rochester area is definitely having a lot of apartments and hotels that are being constructed. And that is leading to people to think, are we going to have too many in a short amount of time? And I would say we are. It's just a matter of when. We're probably 2 to 3 years out. But you'll see, I think, apartments that were constructed turn over. You may see some stuff go back to the bank, unfortunately, just because there's going to be a lot of inventory. And I don't know if there'll be enough people. Hopefully, Mayo can hire enough people fast enough, but we will see. So.
There you go. You're coming. Can you hear me the whole time?
In and out.
Okay. I got you now.
All right. So let's go on to social. How are you seeing it work in your business? What progress have you had since we talked? And where do you see it maybe headed as far as how you're going to use it in your business?
Sorry, I just missed the first part.
Let's go into social. How are you
for sure.
in your business? And what are you seeing as progress related to social?
You know, we both know consistency is key, right? Like just being consistent with the social work. Snapchat is still king right now. Honestly, I've dropped off using Instagram quite a bit. I still use it every now and then, more for like picturesque shots of places that we're in. Like I shot one of like a 1940s fire hose yesterday in a really cool commercial property. And, you know, that sparked some good conversation with people that are in the marketplace, but I'm using it as relationship building versus advertising. And I think this touches on what we wanted to talk about as far as, you know, trends that I'm seeing with social. One trend that I know a lot of people are talking about is growth hacking, and, you know, using tools to maximize their followers or become, you know, the most followed person on Snapchat or Instagram or Twitter. Honestly, I know we're in agreement on this. I would rather have 50 followers that I interact with daily than 10 million followers and be the Kim Kardashian of Snapchat. It doesn't mean anything, right? Like if you're not getting genuine interactions, it's not going to translate to business. And truth be told, we're both busy enough that it just becomes a time vampire to try and upkeep that. You know, I think social is like anything else. Social is like a notepad or a pen or your car. It's a tool that you can use daily. I'm seeing that light a little bit more and more, where, you know, before maybe I cared about how many likes a post was getting on our business page, or, you know, always comparing yourself against other business. I actually heard something on a podcast the other day that I put on Snapchat, and I've told to probably 100 people since, you know, it's not about comparing yourself to the other people that are out there. It's about being in a race with yourself. So, you know, gauging the content that you're putting out there, and is it a true reflection of who you are and where you want your business to grow. And I've found, since I had that mindset shift, the amount of business that's come in off social has been insane. Like people literally think I'm crazy when I tell them that, you know, I got 3 listings last month off Snapchat and I got 2 new tenant acquisitions off Snapchat. So, you know, that's where we're at with it. You know, what's your top-down view of social right now and how you're using it in your business?
Yeah, social is a real thing, meaning it works, and it's awesome to hear the success you're having. You do more residential as well. Like, I don't really touch residential. The type of leads you're getting, is it coming for residential, or are you seeing commercial too? I'm curious.
It's both, actually. Yeah. So, I mean, we do 3 aspects of business. We do residential referral only. So we don't take anything just off the street. It's through people that know us. And we call it focused diversification, because a lot of times the people that we're doing res stuff for are people that own businesses and we're doing leases for and stuff like that. So, I mean, they trust us. You know, our market's small enough that we're really have a good grasp on that industry. And I'm blessed to have a wife who has a brain that I don't even know how she got it, and her looks and everything all as a package, but she has such a good grasp of the residential market that, you know, when we have a friend doing a relocation and I get an idea of what they want, I can go home to her and say, hey, this is what they're looking for. She comes up with a property list and it's done. Like there's not a lot of that chase down that you get in residential real estate. It's just not really a part of our business, that I can really stay focused on the commercial stuff. So just going back to your question, yeah, a lot of residential leads only because, you know, they see the market knowledge that we have. The commercial stuff is still coming. We're not getting a lot of, like, say, large commercial listings because a lot of the guys that are 80 and 90, they're just not on Snapchat. It's mostly the tenant stuff that we're getting from Snapchat.
Right. And it's a long-term game, right? I think that's what we both recognize is, even though I'm on Snapchat and some people be like, you're wasting your time. And I get that. I mean, I interact with the old guys. Like, I had coffee with an 80-year-old this morning that has done a lot of business in Rochester. And if I were to tell him, oh, I'm killing it on Snapchat, he'd be like, you're dumb. Like, stop. What are you wasting your time on? And you and I know others that are in our community of realtors and just in business in general, it's not just all real estate agents, in this community of conversation, like, it's a long-term game. And I'm in it for the long run. Like, I'm going to be the 80-year-old that said I was on Snapchat when it started, and look at all the people I've met because of it and where it's taken me related to business, life, and relationships. Like, it's amazing. I hear you as far as growth hacking. Like, it's not about, and Gary Vaynerchuk, who I praise, like, that guy is the man when it comes to this stuff. He goes, it's not about width, it's about depth. And I have a friend of mine, we meet every week and we talk about it. He's like, how many views are you up to? And I'm like, stop it. Like, I straight up don't care how many views you're up to. What's the interaction? When you put out a question, what is the responses that you're getting? When you overall share funny stuff, are people sending you emojis? Like, are people are you meeting people? Are you going further than just even the interaction of actually doing a Google Hangout? Are they following you on other channels? Where has that communication conversation led you? That's what it's about. And that's why I'm on social, is because it leads to great relationships that are going to help me expand outside of the Rochester walls that so many of my mentors that I look up to necessarily didn't do. Like, the opportunity is now. I can break these walls of Rochester, and a lot of that is thanks to the internet, thanks to me having the ability to spread my wings and fly, right? I mean, just to meet new people, to be in Canada and feel familiar with the community and already have somebody that I trust and have built this relationship with, that I can do my own deals or I can refer people. Like, that's why I'm on the internet, is to learn, build relationships, grow, and have fun. So
yeah, and I mean, and it works, right? Like, we're really not that far from each other. You're just on the other side of the border from Niagara, and that's about 3 hours from here. If down the road you had a developer that wanted to look at, you know, an affordable project and pay Canadian dollar rates, I mean, we're the city for you, right? And I mean, vice versa. Like, I'm still planning to come down to Rochester at some point too, and meet up with you and get a layout of your city. And again, it's all through relationship building. It's funny, like, you talk about the interaction that you get from people. I don't know if you've met Steve on my Snapchat channel, but I created a character as a joke one day, and then I kept kind of bringing him up over and over and over. And I'm getting literally messages from friends when Steve doesn't make an appearance for a couple of days, just asking how he's doing and stuff like that, right? So I'm sending, you know, what's funny is I'm actually sending Snap direct messages to people that I've been friends with for a long time that I haven't texted in maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
And like, one of my buddies is in Japan right now, and we've been going, but he was on the subway going from one place to another. We started talking business and then just joking around with filters and stuff like that. But our conversation led to a possible opportunity that may come to fruition come summertime, right? And again, like, you tell this to people that aren't in our world, and it's like, you're crazy. But I think it's that same mentality, and this will bring us right into another subject about, you know, how real estate agents are stuck in the mud with that old salesperson mentality. I think the general population is still in that mentality where this is how things are, this is how they're going to be for the next 20 years. Snapchat's here now, it's going to be gone tomorrow. You know, I don't think it's Snapchat, I don't think it's Twitter, I don't think it's Facebook. I think they're always going to be interchangeable. I think you're still going to be Bucky. Like, if Snapchat disappears tomorrow and, you know, some other Anchor comes in and Anchor becomes the app, you're going to just jump in anchor and you're still going to develop those relationships, and you're still going to have the skill set that you've developed doing what you're doing now, not caring about the views and growth hacking and worrying about how to leverage that platform to seem like you're the expert. People can smell BS pretty quickly these days. So that may work in the short term, but again, long-term game, like you're talking about, that's what it's all about. And I was listening to The Eventual Millionaire with Jamie Tardy. It's a podcast, great podcast. Look it up if you haven't heard it. And she had a girl on, and she was saying, you know, she's blown up in the corporate space as far as her startup company. But when she's talking about blowing up in the corporate space, it's been 7 years that she's been grinding. And she's like, social for us is exploding. She's getting all these interview requests. She's like, but keep in mind, it's been 7 years of grinding, of, posting when there's nobody watching your channel and just being consistent. She's like, people think that, I'm a flash in the pan and it just happened in the last 6 months, but it was years and years and years of hard work. And it's the same thing for us, man. Like, I remember when I started all this stuff, like when I started in the restaurant business before I got into real estate, it took us 2 years to get the following that we had. And, I've been doing the amount of social I've been doing in real estate for almost 5 years. And like, it's in the beginning, nobody cared. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, people are asking you questions. Well, how do I do that? How do I do it? And you tell them, you share it, give them all the information in the world. You don't have that scarcity mindset. They'll do it for a week and then they'll never do it again. Right. And that's where it's a mindset thing, right? For that long-term farming and, seed planning that comes to fruition and being genuine about it.
So if you had to give one piece of advice to somebody watching as far as social, and they're not doing anything, or they're doing some of it, but they're doing it half-ass, like what would be your piece of advice, and what channel would you recommend using? What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I would stick with Snapchat. I'm not just saying that because it's hot right now. I'm saying it because Snapchat's the one platform where you don't have to edit what you're doing. You're not going to take 50 photos and apply 50 filters and worry about your hashtags. You literally just shoot what you shoot. Everybody that's on it, sometimes they don't have their makeup on and their hair done, or, they're wherever they're at. They're really themselves. It disappears after 24 hours. So you don't have to worry about, what, did I say that wrong, or did I look wrong on camera? It's gone. So, the people that saw it. Third part is you'll get a true gauge of the people that care and are interested. So the people that are interacting with you and watching your videos, they're choosing to watch your videos. They have to literally click on your name to see it. So it's not just showing up in their feed, which I think is a mistake with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You post something, it's in the feed, 10 minutes later, it's gone. So, you may have posted something, unless I go to your profile, which, we do because we're friends with each other. Unless I do that on a regular basis, I don't know what's going on. But if I pop up on Snapchat, I'm like, I'll always be like, hey, I wonder what Bucky's up to right now. And then you get that quick update and then you're on with your day. But then it leads to a conversation like last week, and now we're sitting here, right? So, and the second part of that is, if you're not doing anything on social, pick one thing. Literally just one thing, and then just be consistent with that. And then learn to use that one thing to distribute that content somewhere else. So you can save, a Snapchat video and you can repost it on Instagram or Facebook. But, don't clutter yourself up with lots of shiny objects. Just pick one, have a lot of fun with it, and then just be yourself.
Yeah, and I love Snapchat, and Snapchat has led to this. Snapchat has led to being more active on Instagram, on Twitter, on all those things. So I agree with you 100% related to Snapchat, and I love that you can pull down content from Snapchat. You say you're not posting as much on Instagram. I'm posting more variations of things on Instagram because I'm pulling it down from Snapchat. So video stuff that I think that's funny. Like, Snapchat has opened my eyes to say, I have content and stuff to share in front of me all day long. I just needed to have a platform that wasn't difficult to post on, didn't have a lot of steps. It was straight up, grab my phone, post, and go from there. And one comment in the Snap Pack, a group of realtors that have come together and done one Google Hangout, we need to do more. One conversation that's resonated with me is someone said, use Snapchat as your camera Forget about using your camera app that's within your phone. Just use Snapchat. If you decide to not add it to your story, that's okay, because you can still download it. But what will happen is you'll figure out this actually is something I can add to my story, and you'll make that story grow. So I'm with you on Snapchat all day long. That's awesome.
That's smart. That's actually real smart. And I think that's just my failing of not taking the time to look and then redistribute my content, because it's there. Like, I can pop my story up right now and be like, that was funny, and I can just put it on Instagram, right? I just gotta do it more. That's all.
You got to do it. You got to block time. You got to be like, all right, I'm laying in bed and my 20 minutes of sitting here, I don't know. You just got to do it. Like, it's so easy to do it, but you got to dedicate the time, and it's tough when you're busy.
Yeah, for sure.
Social, that's good. So I agree with you. Just do it. Like, grab your phone and start doing it. There's no barrier to entry with your phone. You just got to start posting. All right, let's go on to hot topics. And I would like to just, we had a quick conversation before we got on the call to say, what's on your mind? Like, what's in your heart? What's something you want to cover that's kind of a hot topic for you? I got one, you got one. I'll let you start it off.
Yeah, so I mean, mine's very simple. You know, as real estate people, we come with a certain preconception, right? People always think, you know, what do you want from me? And it's the same thing in all sales businesses, right? Like, you walk into a car dealership, I get like that. Like, I walked into a furniture store in Michigan on the weekend, and right away I got hit with 2 salespeople, and my walls went up because I'm used to the sales tactics. You know, they'll compliment you and everything else and do all the things that you normally do to develop that rapport, to get a quick sale, and it doesn't feel like a genuine relationship. You know, a hot topic for me is, how do I translate my genuine intent of wanting to help people? You know, regardless, I could care less about getting paid on a deal. Honestly, I could say that. Like, you know, finding a company, finding them a wicked space, you know, relocating them in 2 or 3 years, you know, being their advisor and showcasing why they need me is probably the hottest topic in my mind right now. So, you know, I guess the hot topic would be, how do I translate to businesses that they need a representative to go to bat for them when they're signing their lease? Because a lot of people will think, oh, I can just do it myself. I'll go direct to the landlord. I'll cut the best deal, right? Let's cut out a middleman. But how do I translate to them that I'm not a middleman, and that they're better off having somebody in their court when they're going through the whole transaction? A lot of people don't even know exist, right? Like, there's so many times we'll get to the end of a transaction, and the owner of the company's like, I didn't even know you guys were out there. He's like, I just thought I went straight to the landlord, and that the lease rate was what the lease rate was, and that's it. You know, the reason why we're so passionate about it, and, you know, me and my business partner, Jeff, I'm not sure if you've met, you'll meet him soon enough. The reason we're so passionate about it is we see companies that get stuck in really bad situations that go straight to landlords, will pay a face rate, you know, say it's advertised at $15 a square foot net, not understand how CAM charges are structured or additional rent charges, not understand, you know, how to go about getting tenant inducements like free rent, you know, money to build their space out. They'll lock in at an expensive lease rate, and then their company will grow from, say, 5 to 15 employees. They'll need to relocate, and then they'll end up being stuck in a lease that you can't sublease. So their growth gets stymied until the end of their lease. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where the passion comes from, and us wanting to translate that to the tenants. And the kicker of it all is our services are free. They're paid by the landlords, right? Like, it doesn't actually cost the tenant anything, right?
Right. And I think I have that same topic that's been going through my mind a lot, and we see it especially now because of the internet.
Yeah.
And I love how you say advisors. Like, we've done it to ourselves to call ourselves sales agents. Like, our firm, we are real estate advisors. We're like your financial advisor. We want to earn a spot on your bench so that your team can succeed in whatever you're trying to do. It's about you and how we can build and create whatever it is our client has as a vision.
Yeah.
And the value proposition that advisors have to show is changing, I feel like, more than ever because of the internet, because the internet has eliminated us realtors holding the golden key to get into the property. Like, that used to be it. Like, when there was the MLS book, like, you had to talk to a realtor to get a copy of the MLS book. Now with the internet, we took out those barriers, and I saw it yesterday. 10x.com, which is a rebrand from auction.com. There's a mobile home park that's listed not too far from here in Orinoco, Minnesota. And I called up the real estate agent who's listed, and I go, there's no commission to be paid on this deal to me for bringing the buyer. I have a buyer that's interested. And we're seeing that more and more. How do you feel that I, as a real estate advisor, provide value to my buyer that is interested in your property? And I asked him that question, the selling agent, and he said, well, I've been through, all we do is mobile homes across the country, and we're liquidating these assets around the country for one client, and they have us sell it on this platform. And the value that you can bring is really helping this person through the due diligence process of making sure that they dot all the I's, cross all the T's, get weight listed off their shoulder so they can make a financially sound decision that's going to lead to them being successful, being profitable, building and creating whatever they want to build and create. And the thing I like about that is it weeds out the people that are sales agents. Like I despise, like, honestly, I do not want to be, I want to help people. I'm like you. I want my agents to help my advisors. I got to get that out of my lingo. I got to help. I want to help my advisors so they can help people. Like, that's what it's about. The money is the byproduct. The money will come. Success will come. I just want to be happy in life, and my advisors will be happy in life. And I don't know, man. I hear you. Like, it's going to be cool to see the shift, to look back 20 years from now and say, what are real estate advisors' roles in transactions compared to what they used to be 20 years ago? And how do we still exist in a career that we're extremely passionate about? And I think you'll see that shift. And a lot of that shift is due to the internet. And also, I think it's due to generations, meaning I can live, work anywhere. And I think we're of a generation that generally just wants to help because we recognize, like, money can be there and the things can be there. And, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a different day and age than what it used to be. So. I get done with that rant, I'm sweating and I lose you. If anybody's tuning in, we talked about hot topics. We were just on overall, what values do real estate agents bring? And it no longer is the inventory. I think Justin and I share in that opinion. It is now more value on how do we help our clients succeed? And we have to prove that value more than ever before, because you want to look up properties, go to loopnet.com. Go to Realtor.com. Like, it's out there. You don't need us to look at properties. The data is out there. Is the in-depth data there? No, not necessarily. That's one value we add. But we have to continually work as real estate advisors to provide more value than ever before. And I'm a part of a team that is proving that to clients, and we're going to continually prove that to clients to really bring value to their large life decision that they're working with. And I think Justin shares in that. That's our hot topic. Sorry, we lost him again. I don't know what the deal is with the internet today. We're going to work as we go on to our next hangout to get this fixed, whether it's hardwiring the internet or whatever we got to do. If I get Justin back on, great. We'll finish with one more hot topic. If I don't get Justin back on, we'll probably sign out and get to work because we got to help some clients out. We'll give it just a couple minutes here. And check out Justin, his wife, their business, the closers. I'll link it up down on the bottom. Instagram, Snapchat. Like, if you really want to get to know us, check us out on Snapchat because that's where we're the most active. And we'd love to get to know you and have conversations. You still there, Justin?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, awesome. I just got now.
All right. So.
Yeah. So no, just to jump on to what you were saying.
Go for it.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just gonna say, you know, I do want to touch on that because I think you're on. I think the old guard, the old way of doing real estate was, you know, really pushing that scarcity of information. Like when the MLS got put online, a lot of them freaked out. The sky's falling. We're gonna go out of business, right? They didn't go out of business. I mean, their roles were still super important because you can put all the
internet. Dang it.
Every day. Just like I'm not a mechanic. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
Yep, I got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you know, if I wanted to become a mechanic and I spent 10,000 hours doing that, then I'd be an expert mechanic. But
lost ya. All right. That being said, if you can hear me, Justin, let's sign it out there. Having some internet problems, but it's been a great conversation. Thank you for hitting me up on Twitter to have this Google Hangout, and let's keep it going with other great people that are in this community of, you know, business, real estate, the internet, how it's working, and the shift that we're seeing across the board in so many different industries. So thanks, Justin, if you can hear me, and we're going to sign it out right here. Have a good day.